Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today I am bringing you guys the rebooted version of What If Future Vegeta Survived. I privated all the other versions I made, or the one version with all the multiple parts. Reason why is because that What If was just kind of ass in general, and me rebooting this is, just a nice restart, and not to mention I can make this story good. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Dragon Ball fan and you want more What Ifs in the future, be sure to comment down below any suggestions you have in your mind, and be sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new to the channel, as that helps me out, along with hitting the bell icon, and that helps you out personally. That way you're notified and updated when I upload, because YouTube notifications tend to be kind of weird and wonky, so be sure to hit that bell icon so you avoid any confusion. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's just dive into this What If scenario, and I hope you guys do enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like I'm Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet. Yeah, flex like I'm Hogan. He always coming over. We respect.
Okay, so we start our story off with future Vegeta and the other Z Fighters facing off against the androids. They would take down the Z Fighters one by one, leaving only Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo left. Android 17, just as he's going in for the final blow on Vegeta, he sees Piccolo throw 18 away, and this forces 17 to rush in and aid her. This is where the timeline changes, as Vegeta does not die in this encounter this time. Gohan, even though weakened, would get back up and try and help Piccolo the best way he can, but Piccolo would prepare a super explosive wave. But before using it, he tells Gohan to get out of the way, and Vegeta, being alive here, would power up into Super Saiyan and rush in to help. He says he'll back Piccolo up, but they both know it won't matter as the androids are too powerful. Vegeta and Gohan have the best chances of survival as they are Saiyans and Vegeta already has Super Saiyan. Piccolo surrounds himself in a massive ball of light, revealing that he's doing more than just making an explosive wave. He's making a sacrifice. This would then lead into Vegeta saying how they have no clue of surpassing Super Saiyan, and Piccolo would then say they are the hope of the future, he and Gohan, so they're going to need to figure it out. And at that point, Vegeta would then nod and would fly away with Gohan, and Gohan, trying to rip away from Vegeta's grasp and trying to stop Piccolo, would just watch in awe as Piccolo dies. I think Piccolo would let go all of his power the second 18 actually gets the closest near him. However, 17 would manage to pull her back just enough, just so Piccolo wouldn't actually kill her. However, she's probably on her endgame Thanos shit where half of her body is just deteriorated and destroyed. So Piccolo's death wasn't completely in vain. Now, this would then lead into Vegeta and Gohan recovering at Capsule Corp and trying to think of what's the next best step. Vegeta says to Gohan how he has the best potential out of any Saiyan alive right now, and he might be able to be the key to beating the android. And so for the next few months, Vegeta and Gohan would train at Capsule Corp, probably in the gravity room, and like in canon, Trunks is still born. Now, unlike in canon, we are going to be not having a 13-year time skip, and rather Vegeta and Gohan probably training for a couple of months, and Gohan becoming a Super Saiyan, which makes Vegeta very arrogant. He's very confident against these androids now that Gohan has found some power, and Vegeta himself also adapted off of his previous encounter off the androids, so now he's stronger than before. And the two would then charge head-on against the androids, resulting in the two Super Saiyans easily getting beaten, and 18 almost being defeated, but when 17 comes in and actually starts taking the fight a lot more seriously, Vegeta and Gohan just get slapped into base form. They aren't going to kill the Saiyans, however, just because it's fun to beat them up, and they are the only line of defense Earth's got at the moment, so might as well just take advantage of that. 17 says your pathetic super whatever isn't enough, and Vegeta would realize what happens if he dies here. Next would be Gohan, then Capsule Corp, then Bulma, then Trunks. And Vegeta would remember Piccolo's last words before dying, and that being Vegeta and Gohan are the last hopes of Earth. He can't die here. As 17 is beating up Vegeta's already broken and beaten body and tries to stomp on his head, Vegeta for a split second would then snap and unleash a power he's never felt before, and the androids have never even felt this themselves. They would get pushed back by the raw power and pressure of Vegeta's aura. The androids would be pushed back by such a strong pressure. And this would then lead into Vegeta actually realizing what's happening, and he's surpassing Super Saiyan. However, he clearly doesn't have any mastery over this, as his energy is running out fast, and so he would use the last bit of his energy to grab Gohan, and he would then get out of the area. This would then lead into both of them heading to Capsule Corp, and Vegeta would tell Gohan how that power was the ascension of Super Saiyan. And that's the next step and the key to defeating the androids after all. He and Gohan need to learn this power. And until Vegeta at least has some more understanding of this form and can at least turn it on and off, then that is when they will be ready to go and take on the androids. Vegeta and Gohan have been training hard, and believe they have taken the necessary precautions to defeat the androids. Gohan is a lot more powerful than his future canon self due to having Vegeta to train with, and would be the second strongest hero on Earth, besides Vegeta himself, obviously being number 1. Speaking of Vegeta, over the course of the 3 years, intensely training with Gohan for months on end, even lowering his power to get beaten up only for him to adapt to the conditions, would be enough to actually push Vegeta to the limit and actually ascend to Super Saiyan yet again. But this time, he would have a lot more time to actually process this form and how it works, and by the end of the 3-year time skip, he would be able to actually wield this form and be able to turn it on and off. I don't think his mastery would be to the level of his Cell Saga self, and his power wouldn't even be nearly close to that Super Vegeta, but Vegeta believes that he has enough power to defeat both androids in this timeline. The two Saiyans then head out and they would proceed to combat the androids near a carnival-like area, symbolizing the area that, Trunks and Gohan were fighting the androids in, but this time it's just Gohan and Vegeta. Due to the fact that only 3 years have passed, so Trunks is like 4 years old at this point, so they're not going to throw a child into the mix. So the two Saiyans land, and Gohan would immediately rush at 18, who we know is vaguely inferior to 17, and she's even weaker than her normal self given the fact that she was fatigued by Piccolo's blast all those years ago. This teen Gohan, I'd say, is far stronger than his future self, and he could probably give 17 a run for his money on some Piccolo in the canon timeline versus 17 type stuff. However, 17 obviously has the infinite stamina, and Vegeta in base-to-base power is stronger than Gohan. So Vegeta at the start of his fight with 17 would actually be able to body 17 in his first Super Saiyan state, but obviously due to the infinite stamina and the energy consumption Super Saiyan has, Vegeta would begin to be pushed back, and Vegeta knows what he must do. He needs to finish the fight, and so would transform into Super Vegeta. 17 would try and prepare a blast, but Vegeta was already on the move and blitzed right in front of 17 before he could react. One strike from Vegeta sent 17 flying into a Ferris wheel. As this is happening, Gohan would be able to easily take on 18, however we already know due to the Super Saiyan consumption, 18 is starting to turn the tides, but Gohan is a lot stronger here and 18 is weaker than her canon self, so it is going to be a lot harder for her to personally put Gohan down. Gohan would then remember why he's even alive, and that is because of Piccolo and Vegeta's rigorous training. Gohan has came this far, and he can't lose now. Gohan would proceed to rush in at Android 18, firing off a solar flare. We already know that he does have this technique in the manga, so I'm just going to say that Gohan somehow has learned this technique before Krillin or Tien died, and this would then lead into 18 being blinded long enough for Gohan to then charge up a Masenko, which would completely eviscerate the android given the fact that this is Gohan's full power, who 18 doesn't even scale to at her peak, and she's even weaker than her canon self. And so, the android is destroyed, with 17 barely recovering from Vegeta's punch. 17, seeing his sister fall, would then be enraged and would immediately try to gun for Gohan. However, that is when a purple beam would then intercept the two and would completely fry 17 into atoms. This was Vegeta firing off a Gallic gun at full blast, and returning into base form would now know that the androids have been defeated, and both Saiyans who came out alive because of Piccolo managed to stay alive, and they've saved the future. Now, it's time to move on to the next step, which is what, you may be asking. Well, I'ma dumb it down for you, you stupid bitch. Okay, so they're gonna be trying to revive the old Z Fighters, and it could take a while, but slowly they could try and form the Z Fighters back again via finding new Namek suggested by Gohan. I'd say Bulma would help create a drone instead of a time machine that could search out for new Namek. The fact that Bulma is able to make a time machine in a timeline where there's like scraps and stuff, I definitely think she's capable of making a drone or something that is able to find new Namek in a short amount of time. And so after 2 years, I'm going to say the drone finds and locates it, and Gohan and Vegeta would then travel for 7 months to go and visit New Namek. When they arrive, I think Dende and the other Namekians would be scared initially by Vegeta, but Vegeta himself would ensure them that he means no harm and he is not the same Saiyan he once was long ago, and Gohan would back this up, allowing Dende to trust the two. And when actually being told by Gohan and Vegeta's situation and what they need, they would easily go and gather the Dragon Balls and summon Porunga. Now for the first wish, they are going to be easily reviving Piccolo, which means Earth's Dragon Balls will come back, and as for the second Dragon Ball as well, I believe they could probably wish for a much faster ship to speed up the process of getting back home for Gohan and Vegeta, and for the last wish, they would revive Krillin since it is a Z fighter that died more than once. Now that they know where New Namek is, and with this upgraded ship, they could always come back and revive Chaozu, along with Yamcha, Tien, etc. And thankfully, this new ship allows the Z fighters to travel back to Earth in 7 days rather than 7 months. Now, roughly under 2 years, everyone would be revived except for Goku, obviously, and the Z Fighters would decide to pick up where they left off and move forward. This means training the next generation and preparing for threats for over a decade. The reason why is because the regular time skip, which was initially 13 years, is now 10 years because we took 3 years for Gohan and Vegeta to train to beat the androids in this timeline. And then we have 3 years for Trunks waiting for the time machine, and then 3 more years for Trunks returning, and then another 3 years for Trunks killing Cell. So we do have 19 years. So we have 19 years of training, almost 2 decades of training for the Z Fighters to basically just obtain higher levels of power. Now, Gohan here would be more focused on training and saving the world, but school is a side thing, leading into Gohan inevitably finding Videl, and those two getting together before Buu pulls up. Piccolo would be training with the Saiyans from time to time, but Kami would ask if Piccolo wants to do some serious training. This leads into Kami telling Piccolo how he wants to prepare for any threat as Guardian of Earth, since he's been pretty useless by this point. Popo would be shown just getting done gathering the Dragon Balls, and Kami would wish for youth. Kami, being young again, would then decide to even begin training in the time chamber, requesting if Piccolo would like to come as well. Piccolo reluctantly accepts Kami's offer as he really has no one else to train with, and so the two Namekians begin to doze off in the room of spirit and time. Vegeta and Gohan would mainly train, and throughout the 17 years they have apiece, these three easily go through the Super Saiyan grades and achieve Super Saiyan 2. Now, I'm unsure if Cell could even pull up, but let's say even if he does show up, literally any of the Saiyans can neg him, so it's pointless and irrelevant. Piccolo and Kami by the end of their time skip would be above the Super Saiyan grade 4s, but below the Super Saiyan 2 range. More so Piccolo, since he'd be way stronger than Kami. Kami would be below Piccolo, but he would still be strong in his own right, and eventually Babidi and Dabura show up. But we have the Saiyans just heading to the hideout with Shin and defeating them with ease. We have 3 Super Saiyan 2s and Piccolo, who's above the grade 4s. Dabura wouldn't stand a chance, as this Gohan is stronger than the one that fought Dabura and was beating him up anyway, and not to mention Vegeta is stronger than that Gohan, and then Trunks is relative with this Gohan. And so Dabura and Babidi are defeated, and not to mention the plan to revive Majin Buu has failed, and Majin Buu's egg would then go to the Supreme Kai's hands, and the Supreme Kai's thank the Z Fighters for their help, and to reward them, they are welcome to train on the planet of the Kais. And this would then lead into Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks personally going to go and train for a few months, which would lead into Vegeta releasing the Z Sword and then breaking it, eventually releasing the Elder Kai, and this would then lead into them getting their potential unlocked. Now, I think Gohan would go first, and Trunks would then go second, with Vegeta being the one very hesitant about this power-up. However, in the end, it is good to actually get it for the sake of the planet, and so he would get this power-up, becoming the strongest once again. And before Beerus arrives, Vegeta would be working to trying to master this ultimate form similar to how Goku mastered grade 4, and Vegeta would be damn near close to making Mystic essentially his base form. Vegeta wouldn't have time to master, however, as Beerus would wake up demanding about a Super Saiyan God. He would still go to King Kai's planet, body Goku, would then go to Earth, but Vegeta, being the main defender, would mostly comply with Beerus, but Beerus would grow impatient, inevitably, and then Beerus would then demand the Super Saiyan God. However, the Z Fighters would then come up with a plan. They would ask Shenron how to summon the Super Saiyan God, and this would then lead into, the 6 Saiyans holding hands, and we would have Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, and yes, Pan this time around, because Gohan and Videl are a lot older in this timeline, are together a lot longer than our canon couple, so they would have Pan around by this time. And Goku would be revived for a day, just for the one time, to help out the Z Fighters. And as for our 6th Saiyan, Bulma would then reveal that she's actually pregnant, and yes, this would be Bulla. And Vegeta would then become our Super Saiyan God, fight Beerus, absorb the power into his base form, etc, etc, and this would then lead into Beerus sparing Earth, and then months later, Whis would then come down and, trying to get food from Bulma. Vegeta would then want to train with Whis, and Vegeta would then begin to train with him. I will say before training with Whis, however, Vegeta has mastered his ultimate state, and now it's basically his base form, and now he can stack God on top of this. So this Vegeta is a lot stronger than our canon Goku. And so he would go on to train with Whis, with then Gohan actually asking if he can train from time to time, as this future Gohan isn't really the same Gohan from canon. He wants to protect Earth, and he thinks it's smart to have another person having this godly power, as maybe one day Beerus might betray them, and they need someone to try and contest, right? And sure, Vegeta may be the only one who can really hold this power, but Gohan wants to give it a try and try and be another strong defender of Earth. And so with that being said, Gohan would then train with Whis and Vegeta from time to time, which would allow him to break his limits and actually obtain the Super Saiyan God transformation. Also, he probably would have mastered his ultimate form like in canon, given the fact that, he actually got his potential unlocked first. And not to mention, this whole power-up is Gohan's thing, so I think it's fair for Gohan to actually master this to his base form, and Trunks is currently learning this as well. Gohan would not learn Super Saiyan Blue, however. He would be back on Earth training and harnessing his god power himself, and this would then lead into Frieza being revived and then attacking Earth while Vegeta's learning Super Saiyan Blue, and Gohan and the other Z fighters actually match the Frieza Force a lot better, with Krillin and the others dealing with the fodder, Piccolo and Kami dealing with Shisami and Tagoma themselves, due to them being a lot stronger. And Gohan and Trunks will work together to fight Frieza, with Gohan going first as him and Frieza have past history. As for Trunks, he can take out Sorbet, as that little guy's annoying as hell, and he can't shoot a laser at anyone this time. Gohan would force Frieza into using his fourth form, and then Gohan in his base form is still dominating this version of Frieza, which would then force the Emperor to use his golden state. Gohan would then reveal his god form, and the two would then combat, with Gohan clearly being inferior to Frieza in terms of power. However, Gohan is able to hold his own, and being able to actually, outlast him via stamina. And with this, Frieza would be getting weaker and weaker, long enough for Vegeta to arrive, and if he takes the fight into his own hands, then Vegeta Blue is just going to be dominating Frieza, considering the fact that this Vegeta is way stronger than canon Goku. And so Vegeta would then completely obliterate the Emperor, and the ROF arc would then be concluded. Now as for Universe 6, I'm going to be having Vegeta and Gohan, and then Monaka along with Piccolo and Trunks, since, no Majin Buu in this timeline. Also, Gohan and Vegeta would have trained in the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 years, getting the beards and stuff, and this would then lead into the Universe 6 tournament with everyone passing the test, and then Trunks going up first. He would beat Botamo similar to how Goku did. However, when Frost goes up, Trunks would then reveal his full power going Super Saiyan 2, and yes, this is his mystic base form being revealed to everybody given the fact that he had time to train before ROF even happened, and right before the Universe 6 tournament happened. Frost in his assault form would then rush at Trunks at full power, however Trunks would just weave, grab Frost, throw him up in the air, and shoot a heat dome attack, completely KOing Frost and eliminating him off the stage. Now when Vegeta comes in, I think Trunks is going to have difficulty, and he is going to get high diff by Vegeta. Piccolo would then step in next, with his ultimate form being a lot more powerful than his canon self. I definitely think he would find Vegeta's weakness and have the power to basically eliminate him. And this would then lead into Acaba versus Piccolo, which is going to be kind of interesting given the fact that Piccolo actually can't really teach him Super Saiyan. Maybe he can try and help him, but at best, Acaba is near the path of Super Saiyan, and Piccolo just eliminates him and tells him to try and reach Super Saiyan one day. Now Hit comes in and completely dominates and bodies Piccolo. Gohan would then fight Hit, and Gohan would definitely last a lot longer given the fact that, he is Mystic amped in base and now he has God, and even train with Vegeta for an additional 3 years, which actually did come in handy given the fact that Gohan did actually discover Super Saiyan Blue, but it's just hard for him to turn it on. This would then lead into Gohan rushing in at God, and then for a split second activating Super Saiyan Blue, connecting a full powered punch. This would make Hit fall back, and Hit would just adapt and eliminate this version of Gohan. Vegeta then steps in next, and Vegeta would then go Super Saiyan Blue and immediately fight Hit. Now this Vegeta is a lot more powerful given the fact that, again, the Mystic Amp happened. Also, he's just been training with Whis a lot more by himself. So in my opinion, this amp should make him stronger than his canon self and would be able to actually eliminate Hit. And if not, then Monaka can just beat Hit, seemingly only for Monaka to actually be not that strong, but it just looks like it. Universe 7 then wins, Champa gets his Earth back, and the Goku Black Arc never happens due to time travel never being a thing, and Zamasu would just, never really hold a big grudge, or as big of a grudge as in canon. Now personally, I do think Zeno would arrive in this timeline like in canon, like how he did in the original Universe 6 tournament. However, I don't think anyone's going to be really mentioning the Tournament of Power, as, only Goku really could even think of that, and at best it would be like a suggestion from Vegeta or him just talking about it, and Zeno trying to further elaborate it, but even then that kind of seems like a stretch. So looking at this realistically, Zeno might just erase Universe 7 due to the low mortal count, and no Tournament of Power means Zeno can just do this. However, I think a Tournament of Power would be fun, especially for this timeline, and so for the sake of the video, I'm going to make it. Now, Vegeta would probably say how, oh, it was fun fighting these other universes, and this would give Zeno the idea, even without future Zeno, and so he would then decide to make a Tournament of Power. However, Vegeta wouldn't be fully involved as he was with Goku, because Goku flat out suggested it. What Zeno did was elaborated on a brief idea. So no one's going to be really specifically targeting Universe 7 in this timeline, and it's every man for himself. And so I don't think the universes are going to be having an exhibition match, but rather the universes are going to be called up and basically just be talking about how there's going to be a tournament of power, and this would then lead into Vegeta and everyone else getting to recruiting. Now for Universe 7's team, it's going to be Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo, Kami, Tien, Roshi, Krillin, Yamcha, and lastly Goku. I think he's the perfect last member for this timeline since no one's going to want Frieza, and so they're going to be reviving their old buddy Goku. Just for one day though, as Goku wants to help and then, go back to being dead. I think Goku and Vegeta would have a spar, with Goku actually showing off some impressive power using Super Saiyan 3 and then showing off a new transformation he's obtained, which is the Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken. And he would able to amp this to times 10, and he's able to hold this just because he's dead, and this would lead to him rushing at Vegeta, with Vegeta going Super Saiyan 2 and clashing with this Goku, and Goku would then fall. However, Vegeta would have been harmed in the process, meaning this Goku scales to about a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. Now with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's head into the Tournament of Power. Now the tournament would start up the same, and I'm going to be saying, for the sake of simplicity, Universe 9 still attacks our main characters, aka Vegeta, however Goku would back him up in this timeline. Goku would use his Super Saiyan form to get the jump on Universe 9 and overall start dominating, and Vegeta would just be using his base form, and that alone is just enough to easily obliterate Universe 9 and eliminate them. Like in canon, Gohan would still be the captain and make like a team circle, however in this timeline it would have a stronger Piccolo, a youthful Kami, and Trunks. And as for Universe 10, Piccolo and Kami would take them on rather than Gohan and Piccolo themselves, and Piccolo and Kami being a lot more powerful than their canon selves easily eliminate Universe 10 and even quicker than in canon. As for Frost, well, he wouldn't try and jump Krillin, but rather instead try and go for Trunks. This leads into Botamo and Vegeta actually helping out Frost, given the fact that Trunks did combat Botamo and beat him, and Vegeta almost lost to Trunks. Trunks would get jumped by Universe 6, however Roshi and even Gohan would arrive to try and aid Trunks, leading into Roshi trying to use the Mafuba and Frost, but then Gohan gets trapped. However, then Roshi then frees him using a little bit of ki, and Gohan powering up into Super Saiyan God would easily eliminate Frost by using a solar flare so he wouldn't get away and punching him off the stage. As for Vegeta and Botamo, he would just throw them both off. And due to Vegeta more so wanting to protect his universe and not really caring about training the other Saiyans, the two Saiyans would never actually be trained and, get stronger, so Kale and Khalif would probably get eliminated a lot earlier on. And as for Dispo, well, Dispo is actually going to be getting overwhelmed by a combination of Hit and Vegeta would be using his blue form mainly, and this would then force Dispo into trying to use his super light mode, but that is when Toppo intervenes, telling Dispo to not waste his energy. Also, I do want to say, as for the other Pride Troopers, they would probably stay in a little longer, but I think Vegeta personally would start eliminating all of them, similar to how Khalifa and Kale did, and maybe he can actually have some assistance from his son Trunks himself. Anyways, Dispo and Toppo would then decide to take on Hit and Vegeta, with both of these fighters being suppressed, but Vegeta using his blue form would push Toppo to his limit, whereas with Hit, he would be adapting off of Dispo. Toppo, while suppressed, would be getting destroyed by Vegeta, and Hit would be adapting off of Dispo, forcing Dispo to try and use more and more of his power, but he just can't because he doesn't want to waste any energy, and so Toppo and Dispo decide to retreat. As for other fights, I think Piccolo and Acaba would then fight once again, with Piccolo pushing Acaba to using Super Saiyan 2, and Piccolo smirks, telling Acaba that he's definitely impressed. However, it is at that point Piccolo shows off his full power and would then proceed to Masenko Acaba out of the ring, telling him that if he survives, he'll be wishing Universe 6 back. And yes, Acaba did manage to reach Super Saiyan right before the Tournament of Power, but then managed to reach Super Saiyan 2 thanks to the help of Piccolo. Now, Kami himself would probably get lost, and trying to find Piccolo would be jumped by the Universe 6 Namekians. However, that is when Piccolo actually comes in to help Kami after his fight with Acaba, leading into an all-out Namekian battle. I think our Namekians would be stronger given the fact that they have the ultimate form and they've been constantly training, and this would then lead into Purina and Salanel realizing what they must do. And that is when Purina gives in, allowing Salanel to actually absorb him, gaining a massive amp. Salanel by himself would begin to 2v1 the Namekians and easily dominate them. Piccolo and Kami try to hold their ground, and that is when we transition into the biggest fight that is going to be happening, Jiren versus Vegeta. Vegeta would fight Jiren similar to how Goku did, getting absolutely stomped, however then getting energy from Universe 7, allowing him to do a Universe 7 Final Flash, which gets reflected back at him, seemingly killing him. However, it is then revealed that Vegeta actually doesn't die, but rather avoids death and is awakened into the Ultra Instinct Omen state. He would scrap with Jiren a lot better than what our initial Omen Goku did, and like in canon, Hit would then come in after Vegeta loses, and then Hit himself also gets eliminated. And so because the Namekians are actually distracted, they're not going to try and jump Goku, but rather Gohan is just going to be giving Vegeta energy, and Vegeta would just be vibing, and if the Universe 3 robots want to try and jump him, then Gohan and Trunks got Vegeta's back. Hell, even Dispo would try and off-guard Vegeta trying to get the jump on him while he's weakened, but that is when Goku instant transmissions right in front of him and clashes with Dispo. And the two would then begin to scrap with with each other. And that is when Kami allows Piccolo to fuse with them, and Piccolo would be the dominant body like in canon because, you know, he is stronger than Kami, but the power boost is completely different than in canon, way more exponential. Piccolo is now no longer Piccolo, but rather a nameless Super Namekian that will save Universe 7. And this is when the two fused Namekians then clash, with Salanel being overpowered by Piccolo, and then inevitably being eliminated, leading into Universe 6's demise. As for Goku vs. Dispo, Goku would overpower base Dispo, but when he uses his super light mode, Goku just starts getting overwhelmed, and that is when the Namekian actually comes in and intervenes, helping Goku face off against Dispo. Now I think Krillin and Yamcha are going to get eliminated, but due to Tien's enhanced vision, maybe he can actually try and detect Damon or maybe the invisible guy, but in the end Tien is eliminated. However, he does eliminate the invisible fighter, and Gohan would then pick up on their slack and would notice Damon's weakness and would then defeat him. As for Goku and Piccolo, they would easily be able to defeat Dispo together, especially given the fact that Piccolo might just be able to defeat Dispo by himself because of the power boost. It's not like he fused with a normal Kami that was like a power level of 300, old and stuff. No, this Kami has been training, and yes, this means the Namekian fusion is going to be way stronger. And so Goku and Piccolo would then go on to help Gohan try and face off against Toppo. However, I do think Vegeta and Gohan initially would try and 2v1 Jiren like in canon, like how Goku and Vegeta did, only for Vegeta to then go up against Jiren the second time with Ultra Instinct Omen, and this would then lead into Gohan and the other fighters concentrating on Toppo. Now, Toppo, rather than going into his God of Destruction state and going crazy, I don't think this will happen because Frieza is not here to basically cheap shot Toppo and force him to use the state. Rather, Goku and Gohan are going to be doing a father-son Kamehameha, while Piccolo holds him in a full Nelson, but just as the beam is going to come in, he then dips, allowing Toppo to then get connected by the full blast, being eliminated before he can go into his full power. Now, Vegeta, although he would lose Ultra Instinct Omen the second time, he would get a massive boost because we do know Ultra Instinct Omen, after you use it, you know, Goku just got exponentially more powerful. This time, it's Vegeta, who already is a lot more powerful than his canon self, and so he would be doing even better against Jiren in his blue form than he would be in his blue evolution state. And this would lead into Piccolo, Gohan, and Goku then helping Vegeta try and push Jiren, but Jiren would then use his full power, eliminating the others such as Gohan and Piccolo. And Goku would try and wear him down similar to how Vegeta and Android 17 did, only for him to be eliminated. However, he would give the last remains of his energy to Vegeta, allowing Vegeta to try and combat Jiren, fail, and then awaken Ultra Instinct a third time. Which this Omen Vegeta should be way stronger than the Goku Omen that was pushing Jiren, so Jiren doesn't even limit break, and Vegeta never goes into the true state of Ultra Instinct, but rather Vegeta defeats him with Omen. Vegeta wishes for the universe to be brought back, and I'm not going to be covering the Moro arc as that's manga only and I only cover the anime, and I haven't finished the Moro arc, but maybe I'll do a Moro arc in the future, you know, like for my other what ifs after I finish it, and also the Broly movie doesn't happen given the fact that Frieza isn't even here. And that is where I'm going to be wrapping today's video up. I know this video is hella long, it took me a while, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to upload this on Wednesday. It just took me a while to get this video done, and hopefully it was worth the wait. And with that being said, guys, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are a Dragon Ball fan, and comment down below what other what ifs you would like me to do in the future or any Dragon Ball type videos, and hit the bell icon that way you are notified and updated when I upload. And follow me on Twitter, that will be linked in the description. Have a nice day, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.